Alright, so Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, and Aladdin are like the dam, I think. And then Oliver and Company is New York, right? So, like, in Frozen 2, Anna, like, unearthed the truth, which is that, like, the North Ultra is getting attacked. And so, like, in Oliver and Company, there is there's security cameras, there are, like, a buzzer that opens the door, like, and then there's, like, in Great Mouse Detective, there is, like, there's cars, there's technology. Steamboat Willie is a steamboat. That is Disney's, like, debut film. And there's a steamboat. It's literally a steamboat. And so, like, I think that that's the point of, like, what's happening in Disney films is that, like, it is actually a, like, technological company, I think. Like, the movies, I think the intention of it is, like, that it is not a, like, medieval, like, kingdom. I think that that's the point of the Disney films, actually. And so, like, I think that that's really interesting because, um, the like the Disney princess films, they said that King Runar built a dam, like the damsel thing. Like I think that that's what's actually happening is that like the damsel thing is a trick, and that's what we all just learned. And so like I think that that's super interesting because like they're attacking our technology, steamboats, and so like that's so interesting because like it's like Dark Times Indeed and Sword in the Stone that's set in like the 1500s, I think. And so like it's very interesting because Dark Times Indeed, because like a lot of the Disney films like are like fake. They're not set in like actual like in like the actual like world. But then there are a few that are like Agrabah specifically references like Arabian Nights, like Saudi Arabia. There's a submarine in that. There's a headset. There's technology like present day modern technology. And then there in Oliver and Company, there's technology, there's traffic and like buses and cabs. So like that's important. And then like in the Great Mouse Detective, there are cars and chessboard. So I think that that's very important because like there are a lot of Disney films that are like set in like the present and that also are like technological. And so I think that that's very important because the original film is a technological film. And that's the point of the company, I think, is that like it's been getting attacked by like fucking Pete or something. Like I think that that's what's been happening is that it's like they've been trying to force this damsel thing. I think that was what was happening with Big Hero 6. Is like this whole thing with Callahan and his daughter. Like I think that that's important. It's like you're not like I don't think you're being over dramatic about that at all. I think it's true. Like it's obnoxious because that's not like I don't think that was the intention of the company at all. And so like that's really interesting. I think that that's really interesting because like for example, so Terry Rossio. So like Beauty and the Beast, like the dam is those two movies. So Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, and Aladdin. And then like that is like kind of like that red cloud over Agrabah. I think that that's what that is because there's a camera literally. There's literally a security camera in Oliver and Company, and so I think that that's really interesting because she wanted the ocean, like in Little Mermaid. Like she wants the ocean. So Vanessa's trick is she wants the internet. She's trying to control the internet. And so I think that that's really interesting, and that was what like in Frozen 2, like I initiated that battle of the internet, which I wasn't like I think I initiated that battle when I was literally born, but obviously I wasn't gonna tell anybody that. I also literally couldn't have because I didn't know English yet. But like that is really interesting because again like they attacked the North Ultra in Frozen 2 because I speak English. Like there's a lot of stuff that was happening. And it's like the battle for the internet, like that had been happening already. But that's what like Beauty and the Beast is that the beast is concealed, and it's probably what is concealed is that it's like the security cameras in Oliver and Company, or like in Little Mermaid, that might be the same situation. The trident might be a reference to constitutional amendments. The 27th Amendment was passed in 1993 or something, and or maybe actually in 1992. I think it was like May 7th, 1992. So like that was passed while I was in utero. And so like that might like the tridents might be references to like the amendments in the Constitution. And so I think that that's the point, is because like that was what was happening. Like this is a Holocaust. And so like I think that that's really interesting because like and honestly some of these movies were made during the Holocaust. Like some of the like older Disney films were made during the Holocaust. And I think that's very important because that was what's happening. These are references to our history, and I think that's the point. Is like I think that was the point of the Beauty and the Beast trick, is that like Ursula was like slighted in Little Mermaid, and then in Beauty and the Beast she was like being petty, and she was like, I'm gonna do this rose gift thing, so I'm a bitch. And then in like Aladdin, like she like hijacked Agrabah, and there's like all kinds of technology in Agrabah, but there's also a lot of really, really gross, like disgusting, like sex trafficking and like disgusting, gross stuff in Aladdin. Like it's absolutely disgusting. But like it is really interesting though, because like I think that the you don't like you that's the whole point of the situation, is that like I like Disney. Like, I'm not gonna have Disney be soured in its entirety because, like, fucking Vanessa's a bitch. Like, I think that that's frustrating me a lot. And, like, that's important for, Disney Junior and, the Moana film and Frozen 3. Like, that's all very important because, like, Vanessa, like, trying to have, like, the ocean or whatever and control the internet, because that's what it is. Is that she is trying to control the internet, and that's the internet is in the ocean. And I think that was in Frozen too, because like she was like Anna was like trying to heal that situation, because she was like, it wasn't a gift of peace, it was a trip. Like it wasn't a river of memory, it was the ocean. I'll have that Little Mermaid, and the ocean will be mine. She was trying to heal that. She was like, hey, it's the ocean. The battle for the internet is the ocean. It's Vanessa. It's Vanessa's trip. It's the ocean. And that's the whole point. Because just like in Moana, when it rains, which is actually my like this like hydrogen fuel cell in the game. And some people probably were being gaslit to think that it was rain. Or like that it was just like a weather phenomenon, like a natural weather phenomenon. And it's not. It's a fucking industrial fan. And so like that's important. But like, and that's the whole point, because Vanessa's trick is that like she's wants the steamboat. And so like that's the whole point of what's happening in Moana. She steals the heart of Te Fiti. I mean, I don't know if that's Vanessa or not, but like I think that that's the point though, is that someone steals the heart of Te Fiti, and then like the oceans are all screwed up and wacky. And that was the point. It's because the battle for the internet is the ocean. The internet is in the ocean. And so like that's the point. That's what's happening. It's awesome. Because like the beast's concealed, but what's concealed is that there's technology in these movies. All of the movies are technological movies. And like that's the point. Because Snow White, the evil queen, is jealous bitch. And so she's like, bitch, like, I fucking hate Snow White because she's like, it's probably the White House. Like, she's probably talking about the White House. And so she's like, she fucking hates Snow White because like we rebelled and shit. And so like I think that's the whole point of the whole movie. And so they have these girls that they're tricking. She's like, it's all for you in the Omen. And she's like, they have these girls that they're tricking, and they hijacked our sets. They hijacked our movie sets. American films film literally on location all across the world. And so that's the point. It's like that's what's happening. It's frustrating you a lot because that's what this whole clusterfuck of a situation is. And like this like Third Reich shit that happened in Aladdin, it's the Holocaust. It's a Holocaust. That's literally what it is. And this is an Anne Frank diary. And it's like, it's a Holocaust. When Jeff comes home, it's an Anne Frank Holocaust diary. And like, it's so freaking awkward because like Vanessa, literally, Ursula, is Hitler. Like, that's literally true. Like, Ursula is fucking Hitler. And like, it's actually true though. It's super awkward, but it's true. And that's what happened. Like, she literally Hitlered, like, America. And it's super awkward, because, like, Beauty and the Beast, that's what's concealed, is the cameras, it's the security cameras. Like, he has a magic mirror, and, like, it's, like, a reference to Snow White, but it's also, like she said, through this night, through wind and darkness. I've seen dark before. That's what she was talking about. Snow White imagery. And they posted the Johnson Boy photo, which has my fucking like bruised up eyeballs because that's what it is. Like fucking, she like fucking Snow Whited you. And like it's so fucking hilarious too, because like that's what this the whole literal clusterfuck of the situation is that like Terry Rossio, that's the dam. So like Terry Rossio, so Theodore Roosevelt Jr., Fix It Felix Jr., fake, it's a trick. Like that's the point, and like that's what's happening because I'm Iago, so just like the seagull in like Little Mermaid, like I'm Iago, so I was her like fucking like parrot. And so like that's what was happening. So it's like I'm her fucking parrot or whatever. I think that that's Ursula, but like I'm her fucking parrot, and like so that's the point. It's like there's a parrot in Steamboat Willie, and so like that's the whole point of the thing is that like I'm her parrot, and so like she trapped me in like a I was in the fucking like lamp, in the black lamp with her, or with whoever that is. I was in the black lamp with fucking Jafar. I'm Iago. It's like that was the whole point of it. Is that like I was in the fucking black lamp with Jafar trapped, and like that was the point because Jasmine's a trick. Jasmine's a Vanessa trick. That's what happens at the end of Little Mermaid. She's like, so long, lover boy, to Eric, and then she like snatches up Ariel, and then that was what happened with that was what Aladdin is. I think is that like the sword in the stone is like there's like the two boys that are in the street, and like there's like a boy with a kufi and a boy with a yarmulke, and that's the point I think. Is that I think Iago is the boy with the yarmulke. That's me, and I was in that fucking I was in that fucking fucking I was in that fucking black lamp with her. And I think that that was the point. I don't think everybody knew that. And like I think that's what was happening. Iago's also on that like you know, hamster wheel kind of thing. Just like fucking like the fucking dad that's in fucking Great Mouse Detective. And so like I think that that's the point. That's what's happening. That's what the trick is. And so like that's what's happening. I figured it out. And so like the trident is like I think representative of like constitutional amendments in some capacity. And so I think that was also what was happening is that like the 27th Amendment was passed like while I was cooking. And so like that was what was happening. The dam is a trick. They separated me and Dylan. This is this Auschwitz twin study. It was like bring back the once was mine, let your body move to the music. That's what was happening. And she had this fucking like Auschwitz twin study thing because that was what was happening. She was trying to trick people. So she knew that nobody was like, she's like, all right, people in America like gay people, but she was trying to like force this religious stuff. And so I think that was what was happening. She was like, oh, these kids like I don't know, because she knew that people were born gay, and so I think that that was what was happening. But she knew that America was like kind of iffy on incest. But I don't know if I don't know. It just really frustrates me a lot because like she just really overblew this like me and Dylan thing like a lot, and it's frustrating because like that was the whole point of her whole ploy is that me and Dylan were like the hugest like the reddest red herring that has ever existed on Earth. And that was what happens because I'm her fucking parrot. I was in that lamp with her, and so she was like that was the whole point. That's why Jasmine has like an apple. She gives an apple to this boy, just like the fucking evil queen poisons people. And then like they try to cut Jasmine's hand off. And I think that was what was actually happening in that is that that was probably a boy like kissing a guy like an Adam's apple. And then they were trying to like cut Jasmine's hand off, but it was actually probably attacking the boy. But like I think that that's the point though, is that like that was some weird metaphor for like homosexuality or something, I think. And I think that that's what was happening is that like they were attacking that boy actually because he's gay and he was eating an Adam's apple. Like I think that that was probably what was actually happening in that scene. And so like I think that that's what that is that like all of the apples that are in that specific scene in the marketplace, I think that that's the whole point of the movie is that the red cloud over Agrabah is that it's like the dam, those three films is that like this Vanessa trick, this Ursula trick of like trying to like gay convert people and stuff, like all of that shit is after Oliver and Company, and I think that that's the point. It's because what is concealed in all three of those movies is that there are security cameras in Oliver and Company. Like there's security cameras in that movie, and like there's like street signs, and there's all kinds of awesome shit in Oliver and Company, and that's the point. Is because all three of those movies are the hottest garbage ever. It's so obnoxious. Also, Willy Wonka, the boxes in Willy Wonka, references to the Boston Tea Party. That movie's set in England. Rufus Salt's from fucking England. And so, like, that's the point, is those are references to the fucking Boston Tea Party. I figured it out. Because I'm Disney Junior. It's my Rubik's Cube. It's like, I'm Disney Junior, and I figured it out. I figured out all of this. But, like, that is true, though. That's what's happening. Terry Rossio, like kidnapped for Christ. Like that's not even true. The age of consent or like the age of presidency is 35 years old. That's in the Constitution. And so like that's what was actually happening. And so like Sleeping Beauty, like Route 66, like it's gonna be 66 years from Aladdin or from Sleeping Beauty to Frozen 3, and there's 33 years from from Sleeping Beauty to Aladdin. That movie also came out 1 year uh, after Beauty and the Beast. As my 60-year reign comes to an end, Great Mouse Detective. That like so 1 year after that, Prince Ali to send him packing on a one-way trip. 59 plus 1 is 60. As my 60-year reign sends me packing on a one-way trip. That's what it is. I figured it out, bitch. That's literally what's happening. It's awesome. And so, like, that's what it is. And so, like, I think that that's what's happening. So, 33 years from Sleeping Beauty to Aladdin. And then 33 years from Aladdin to Frozen 3. And so, like, the trick was, she was probably trying to trick me into, like, religious extremism or whatever, because, like, she was trying to trick me into thinking, like, oh, like, you're this, like, religious figure or whatever, and then, like, oh, whatever. And so she was trying to trick you because she was, like, trying to have people be like, oh, this dude thinks that he's, like, some fucking, like, religious thing. I need to exploit him. Like, I think that's literally the point. It's like, we need to, like, we need some drugs. Let's get some drugs in here. Because I need to exploit this kid who thinks that he's this, like, religious, like, figure. That was the whole point. Terry Rossio, Jesus Christ, Jesus, 5, Terry, Rossio, Christ, Jesus Christ, Terry Rossio. Like, that's what it is. It's a trick. 33 years. So Sleeping Beauty was probably a reference to 35 years of the presidency. That's presidential age. Bring back what once was mine. The time when people were fucking retarded and made like decisions based on their fucking retarded religion. That's what Bring Back What Once Was Mine is. That's what Snow White is. She's attacking the fucking White House because we're not retarded as fuck. Like that's literally the point of this whole movie. That's what all of these movies are. It's fucking funny. Oh my gosh, it's hilarious. There's a there's a globe in The Great Mouse Detective that has North America on it. And there's a scene of a globe with North America on it. And then there is, like, literally New York in the Twin Towers in Oliver and Company. And then there's a tower that gets, like, fake blown up in Aladdin. And then there's 9/11. That happened right after I got fucking kidnapped. So, like, that's the point. It's like 911. Like, that's the whole point. Call E11. Like, that's the whole point. Call 911. Speed hostage extraction. That's what it is. There's a bomb on the bus. This is about money. That's what they're talking about. It's obnoxious. Like, that's what this whole thing is she was, like, trying to trick you into thinking that you were, like, a religious, like, deity or something. And then to be like, oh, drugs. We need some drugs in here. Let's get these drugs in here. I need to exploit this baby. Drugs. That's what happened, Moana. Like, that's what happened, Moana 2 crew. That's what it is. It's obnoxious. I figured it out. And so, like, that's the whole point of it. It's like, it's presidential age. You are a prospective Democrat. And that was what was happening. Is that, like, they learned the truth scene. Magic makes people feel too powerful. Like, that's what it is. Like, like, the First Amendment, Democrats, democracy, M&C. Like, there's a mic in the Prince Ali song. Like, the genie has a microphone. And it's an Agrabah, which doesn't have any, like, but very much technology. There's a scene of an oasis and, like, you know, dressing in, like, a dressing room. Like, that's the point. Is it's not in, like, it's literally a technologically advanced civilization, and, like, the point of the movie is, like, is a disguise. Like, that's the point of Snow White. It's poison, it's jealousy. That's literally what the whole movie is. And it's hilarious because I figured it out. And that was the point. Is because she's like trying to feign like, oh, whoa, like it's Jesus. And like that's what happened in like, cause it's this concept of like, how can it have not been like a religious phenomenon or whatever? So like she was trying to trick people into thinking that, because then like that was the point. It's like you like survived. I'm 32, almost 32. I'm turning 32 in November, Moana 2. So I'm turning 32 then. And so that's probably what Moana 2 is about. Is that like she was actually trying to screw me hard, because she was trying to have me it be like, oh, this dude thinks that he's like some religious figure, and so we need to like drug him up. And so like I think that that was the point, is that like Terry Rossio, you had to figure out your name, which was after Little Mermaid, because like Terrace. I mean that I don't know. I think that that's the point. That's what's on my ID. But like I think that that's what's happening though, is that like she was trying to exploit you, and so what happened is that like Vanessa, that's a trick, and like, that's the point. Like the dam is a trick. And so, like, I think that that's what's happening because Terry Rossio, it has that in it, like Terry, Terr, Rossio, Iss. So, like, it's in there. It's just you have to flip it. And so, like, I think that that's the point. Is that's what's happening. It's like it's super frustrating because that was what was happening. It's like she was gaslighting the shit out of me. And the intention was like, since especially because this tooth gap is fake. So, like, a lot of these things, the intention was like it's so dark because she didn't think that I was actually going to survive this long. And so then me surviving this long, she was trying to gaslight people and me and be like, oh, he thinks that he's like, Jesus or something. And so I think that that was the point, is that like, that was her whole ploy, I think, was that like Terry Rossio, like Jesus Christ, she was trying to be like, oh, kidnapped for Christ. Like he thinks that he's like Jesus Christ, so we have to like drug him up. And like, I think that that was the point. That was the whole ploy. But what happened is they had to bite me to make me an actor, because then I was like, oh, that's what happened. Like, I actually like know exactly how to do all of this shit. And like, I think that was the point. It's like, oh, that's what's actually happening. She was trying to trick people into thinking I had like a messiah complex, and then be like, oh, drug this baby up. We need to drug this up, baby up. Drugs. So like, I think that that was the whole point. That's what this whole fucking clusterfuck of the situation is. Whoever's investigating Johnson and Johnson, that's what happened. They're attacking America. They're attacking our fucking Constitution. I solved it. So all these 7 lights. That's what's happening. She's Hitler. She's a fucking Hitler. This is a Holocaust. Like, Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, and Aladdin is the Third Reich. And fucking Ursula is Hitler. That's the whole point of this whole situation. It's awesome. I figured it out. Terry Rossio, presidential age, Theodore Roosevelt. There's a book that has me in it that says Teddy Bear Bear. Like, that's the point. Teddy Bear, fairest of them all. Like, that's literally what it is. She fucking, like, Snow Whited me because she's a bitch. Like, that's literally what it is. It's awkward as hell, but it's true. But, like, I think that that's what's happening, is that, like, it's Snow White imagery. Like, that's literally what happened. Is that she attacked me because, like, she was trying to trick people into thinking that I was, like, the beast is concealed in a magic mirror, there's security cameras in Oliver and Company, but then, like, Steamboat Willie, like, in the ocean will be mine. Because it doesn't have anything to do with Snow White. That is just, like, the route, like, Route 66, so that you figure out that, like, Snow White is Minnie. Like, it's literally Snow White is Minnie. Like, you can literally, it looks exactly the same. And, like, that's the whole point of the movie. It's fake, and it's so obnoxious. It's also really interesting because Mickey isn't even with Minnie at the end of the movie. And so, like, at the end of Steamboat Willie, I think that that's also important because Hiro is also not with, like, a girl or any, like, he's not with a girl at the end of, like, the gifts. Like, he's sneered at the gift. Like, he's not with a girl at the end of Big Hero 6. And I think that that's very interesting. Same thing that's happening with Callahan. Because I think that that's the point, is I don't think the Disney films were actually intended to be, like, damsel films. That was the point of Anna breaking the dam. Is that was not ever the intention of the company, I don't think. its technological company. And like just like the Boston Tea Party, that's probably why they made Pocahontas, because that's a reference to the Boston Tea Party. There are Native Americans in that. And if you actually like go to a museum and not to church, then you will actually see like, oh yeah, there's like the Native Americans, like, fought the British, and then like there's Native Americans at the Boston Tea Party, which is the point. That's what's happening. Is that this is all garbage. All of this fucking like pissing contest of like people trying to be the fairest of them all, and all this pissing contest of people being like, oh my gosh, you need to like marry a prince, and it's like, fuck off, bitch, like you're fucking retarded. It's like, it's fucking 2024. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I think that's literally the whole point of the movie. It's hilarious. But like, it is just interesting because like, it is true. Mickey is not actually with Minnie at the end of the movie, and I think that's important. And Hito is not with a girl at the end of Big Hero 6, and I think that that's important. Well, I mean, he's not in a relationship with a girl at the end of the movie. And so, like, I think that that's important, actually, because, like, it's just obnoxious. Like, it's super obnoxious. It's a giant waste of time. And, like, it's really frustrating. But, like, so I think that that is what's happening. It's, like, super obnoxious. It's really obnoxious. But, like, that's what the movie is about, though. And, like, that's what's happening with Moana as well. Is the ocean. Like, she wants the ocean. And so her whole ploy at the moment is, like, this Terry Rossio thing. Is that she is trying, like, the Dune movies. Like, she's trying to trick people into thinking that I am, like, have, like, a messiah complex, because she's trying to be like, oh, 33 years, like, he's been alive for 33 years, and he's making this, like, false equivalency that he's, like, a messiah, so you need to drug him up. And it's like, no, she's trying to exploit me because she's a bitch. Tax day is tomorrow. Emma Watson was born in 1990. That was after Little Mermaid. Like, Flower, Gleam, and Glow. She has this little girl that she's gaslighting. That's probably Emma Watson. And so, like, I think that that's the point. It is, like, Harry Potter, fake. That's the point. Aladdin came out, and then, like, the Red Cloud over Agrabah is Harry fucking Potter. The genie has a book. He pulls Sebastian, literally pulls Sebastian out of the Royal Recipes book. So, like, that's the point of it. It's like, Emma Watson's getting gaslit by a fucking Mother Gothel who's probably fucking Ursula. That's the point. That's what's happening. And Emma Watson was born on tax day. Like, Emma Watson was literally born on tax day. And I don't know if, like, somebody genetically engineered her, or, like, had her born intentionally, or if somebody, like, kidnapped her because she just happened to be born on tax day and then tricked her. Because, like, I mean, it's very possible that she was just born coincidentally, like, on April 15th. And then, like, Ursula was like, oh, hey, you want a job? Poor soul with no one else to turn to. He was like, hey, you want a job? I can, I can make you look pretty and, like, do this, like, and I can have you be a celebrity in America. And I think maybe that was what happened. And, like, so that's probably what it is. And then Emma Watson, as she's learning stuff and learning languages and traveling the globe, is like, oh, this fucking bitch is like fucking attacking North America. And then, like, she, like, is friends with Blaze Nagini, was friends with Blaze Nagini. And she's like, and Blaze Nagini is like, Blaze Nagini is like, Emma Watson, she's gaslighting the shit out of you. You were born on tax day, she's gaslighting the shit out of you because of the fucking Boston Tea Party. He even has the nerve to tax a cup of tea. Schoolhouse Rock. Like, that's the whole point. It's like, Blaze Nagini, it's like, Emma Watson, she's gaslighting the shit out of you. That was all fake. And it's so hilarious. It's really awkward. Emma Watson's like, I'm ready to go to London. Like, I think that that's what's happening. It's awkward as hell. Because that's literally what happened. She's attacking North America because we have security cameras and stuff. Like, that's literally the whole point of this whole situation. It's hilarious and it's awesome. I'm almost at presidential age. She's attacking me because I'm a prospective Democrat, and she's jealous. She's a jealous bitch. That's literally what this whole situation is. I'm demystifying this. And that's what happens. Like, that's the whole point of it. As you grow and learn and study, you're like, oh, this goes here, this goes there, that's what that is, that's what this is. And then that's what's happening, and then, like, that's what it is. So that's what's happening. It's insane. And we figured it out, and we figured it out together. she was attacking democracy. She was using your like innocence and naivety, and she was having you like she was trying to trick you, and she was gaslighting you because I wrote this story, but she actually like literally like poisoned a bunch of people. And that's where I'm like, what the fuck? It's just a book. I wrote a book and she poisoned a ton of people and killed a bunch of people. So I'm like, what the fuck? It's like you get your priorities straight. So like I think that that's what's happening. Is like literally that's the whole point of this whole situation. Is Emma Watson, you were born on tax day. She was attacking the IRS. She was attacking North America, and that was what happened. We figured it out together. We solved it. But yeah, that's what it is. It's just a book, Faye. It's just a book. It's just a story. It's like no one's saying that. Maybe like 14 people like on the day before tax day. But like I think that that's the point. Is that like that's what's happening. Is that like it's super obnoxious because she's just attacking Democrats. And like the red cloud over Agrabah looks like the record that's in The Great Mouse Detective. Like that's like music swirling because she's like trying to monetize everything. So like that makes sense too. Is like that's why Agrabah looks like that. There's a ton of money in there. It's horrible. So like all of that makes a ton of sense. Like that's what's happening. There's gold in The Great Mouse Detective too. Like I think that that's the point of it. It's garbage. It's hot garbage. That's what Pocahontas is. That's what this whole thing is. It's the Boston Tea Party. That's what this all of these boxes are. Willy Wonka, the boxes in Willy Wonka, Boston Tea Party. Waste management, these boxes, out of the box, send to the Zoom. Like it's the Boston Tea Party. They're attacking America because they're assholes, and that's the whole point of it. America's awesome. Emma Watson, like America is awesome. It's the best, and it just frustrates you a lot because like America is, it is absolute perfection. It is. It is. It is the most beautiful, spectacular thing that has ever been. It's so lovely. I love America. I love America so much. I love America. And that's what was happening. She attacked America. She attacked America with the damn. Those three movies. She attacked America. Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, Little Mermaid. She attacked America. She screwed America hard. She holocausted America. It's true. It's true. But no, like literally though, she did. And it's just really awkward because it's like it's just the presidency, the age of the presidency. That's probably what happened in Sleeping Beauty. There are probably people who knew that, and just like in Atlantica, like people with the souls, they can't talk. They don't have their voices. Ariel doesn't have her voice. Like that's the point. There was probably a ton of people in Little Mermaid that were like souls, just like in Atlantis, that like couldn't talk, or Atlantica, that like couldn't talk, and were like they couldn't be like, oh, there's actually technology in Agrabah and Atlantica. And wherever Beauty and the Beast is. Like, I think that's the point, is they're like, no, there's technology, that's what's concealed. Don't ask, don't tell. Like, that's what it is. It's fake. She's attacking the internet. She wants the ocean. But they were souls, and I was like, souls that can still be redeemed. That was what happened. And that's what happened. It was just the truth. It's like, it's not that big of a deal. They're gay people. Like, there's gay people. It doesn't matter. And, like, I think that's what was happening, is that, like, that's literally the whole point of this whole situation. Is that, like, there's gay people, there's lesbians, there's straight people, there's security cameras. The mirror, like, Beauty and the Beast, like, look up. Like, there's a photo of me with a cross necklace on. And I'm like, oh, hey, mirror. And I obviously know that the security camera is there. And so, like, I think that that's the point. Because, like, the Beast is concealed. But I was like, I know that you're in there. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? And so, like, I think that that's what's happening. Is that, like, I just was just like not impressed. I was like, I know this is fake. I was like, I can see that. I can literally see it. I can see the camera. I know how like mechanisms operate. I was like, the fuck. So like that's what happened. That's what it is. It's like Kidnap for Christ is garbage. They tricked you. Terry Rossio, Jesus Christ, like that's what it is. She's associating that with that. And this Easter egg hunt, like the huntsman in Snow White, she's associating it with that. She's a bitch. That's all that it was. She's attacking Steamboat Willie. She's attacking fucking like New York in the newspapers. There's newspapers in that movie. There's newspapers in Great Mouse Detective. That's what's happening. She's a bitch. She's attacking the First Amendment, freedom of the press. That's what it is. She's a bitch. The Gutenberg printing press. Like, she's a bitch. That's what it is. That's what the whole story is. Like, repented. Like, it's in there. Like, she says that. But, like, I think that that's the point, though. Is because, like you, it's funny, so you don't, you don't, question it. But then you're like, oh, she's actually a bitch. She's actually trying to trick people into actually doing that. It's like, what the fuck, bitch? It's 2024. I'm going to fucking church. What the fuck is wrong with you? You're fucking retarded as hell. Like, I think that that's literally the point of the movie. It's so funny. But yeah, and so, like, I think what was happening is that she was just, like, literally running out of steam because she wanted the ocean and it wasn't working. And so, like, I think that that was what happened, is that, like, she's running out of gaslighting too. Like, that's literally what it is that, like, once you, like, figured out your name, like Terry Rossio, which is, like, the Vanessa trick thing, like, once you figured out that you were Terry Rossio, she was, like, trying to trick you. She had, like, people impersonating your family and stuff. Like, she, like, blew up the Twin Towers so that you would, like, be scared to find your brother, who is, like, your actual twin brother. That's what all this shit is. She was hiring people to, like, associate with, like, the things that you were actually interested in that were, and she attacked you whenever you were on to her. That was the point. And so, like, you're almost 33, and so she's like, oh, well, I have to have him be like, oh, he has a messiah complex, drug him up. That's the point, but that's not it. It's Theodore Roosevelt Jr. Fix-It Felix Jr., fake. That's the whole point, is she is a bitch, and I'm her fucking parrot, and so, like, people were off-put by that because I, like, kind of sound like her, but I don't do literally any of the horrible stuff that she does. And so, like, I think that that was the point. It was like she trapped me in fucking Kansas because she knew that people here, like, are spineless. And so, like, that was the point. She did that on purpose. That's what's happening in Kansas. That's what this fucking revolt is. Like, that's literally what's happening right now. It's hot garbage and it's obnoxious. And so, like, just, like, diplomatically, I'm not from Kansas. And so, like, diplomatically, like, I think that this is, like, just this demystifying to clarify, like, I'm not from Kansas. I'm not interested in Kansas, really. I, like, would visit. I don't mind visiting Kansas, but, like, it's garbage, though. Like, I'm not interested in Kansas. I think that's really interesting, too, because, like, they're trying to kind of woo you with, like, these, like, because, again, like, the property value of literally, like, the property value of any place that they have tried to force me to reside in or limit me to reside in Kansas is garbage. I'm just like, no, zero. Because they're trying to force me to do conversion therapy. I'm like, not gonna do that. Property value zero. There's plenty of places in the world. And the literal, only appeal of Kansas is that I don't have any money at the moment. And so, like, it would be inconvenient. And it also makes me look kind of nuts to just, like, get on a bus and just, like, go somewhere. So I think that that's the point, is that, like, it's frustrating because I had to actually solve it, and then I actually solved it, and I'm like, oh, that's what's actually happening. I'm reconstructing my container. Like the sensory coordination team. That's what actually happened. I'm like, no, I'm just gonna Anne Frank this thing. Because that's what's actually happening, is that, like, it's super obnoxious. Because, like, it's, like, she's tricking these, like, very, like, naive people, and she's like, oh, yeah, like, Jesus Christ. And then they're, like, dumb, and so, like, oh, yeah, like, let's kidnap people. And then she's, like, and then also she's, like, tricking these pedos and stuff, because she's like, oh, yeah, like, this sexy baby, like, there's this little sexy baby. I was, like, 9 years old, and I shot this arrow into the sky. She's like, hey, come perv on this baby. I'm like, this is disgusting. This little 9-year-old. Like, that's what was happening. That was what the, like, mist was in Frozen 2. It was like the Esmeralda fireplace scene. That's what it is. Gross. It's disgusting. And so, like, I think that that's what that is. I come from a land from a far away, further fireplace. Like, that's literally what it is. I come from gay niggers from space. Like, that's literally what it is. She's attacking America. She's a bitch. And, like, that was what happened. It's gross. But yeah, so I'm almost presidential age. Theodore Roosevelt, that's what's actually happening. Theodore Roosevelt Jr., like, I'm a prospective Democrat, and she was just attacking it. Vote for the future. that was what happened. Like, so Tangled happened, but then I like posted Vote for the Future on Facebook in gray, and she was like, "Oh, I'm gonna River Six then." And so like that was what happened. That's what that whole thing is. And then she was like, "Bring back what once was mine," and all of this garbage. And like that's what this whole stupid situation is she is Hitler, and she was trying to fucking be like the fairest of them all. She's a fucking retard. Like that's the whole point of the movie. It's fucking retarded as hell. And like I think that's just what's happening. It's like the Boston Tea Party. The Boston Tea Party is awesome, and that's what's happening right now. Waste management. We're Boston Tea Partying it. It's awesome. It's insane. Like this is an insane time in America, and it's not a religious phenomenon. Like some of these things, these like weather phenomenons that people have been experiencing, like when Minecraft launched. Like I think that's literally the point. Is that like it's this machine, and I think that's why Wicked is coming out in November at the same time as Moana 2 and Glad. Is because like that's what's happening. It's just gaslighting. They're just gaslighting the shit out of people. That's literally all that it is. They're just gaslighting the shit out of people. It's not Kidnap for Christ. It's not Jesus Christ. It's Terry Rossio. It's Theodore Roosevelt Jr. And that's what's happening. It's like I'm like a super intellectual, um, uh, like Democrat, and she's just trying to trap me in Kansas and trick you guys into voting for like fucking Republicans because she's a bitch.